Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we're going to repeat ourselves. And what do I mean by that? I want to show you how to get the most out of your stamps, to get really cute graphic cards, and to use very little supplies, and have a lot of fun in the craft room, just repeating yourself, repeat stamping onto some card fronts. So if you'll stick around, I'm even going to show you a technique I've never done before. Let's get started. Recently, I have noticed a lot of people leaning into this kind of repeat stamping for a graphic kind of look, and I wanted to talk to you about it and show you how it can be very beneficial in your stamping too. So let's get started. So I'm going to start this process with one stamp set. I kind of want to show you 3 different ways to do this repeat stamping thing, but I'm going to start with this guy and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to get this little bee out of here, and I might even do a couple off of this set to kind of show you, but let's start with him. So what is repeat stamping? It's literally just that. You're just going to use the same stamp and repeat it, but what makes it so cool and what makes it so graphic is how you repeat it. Okay, so here's what I mean. So I'm going to lay my little piece of cardstock out, and this is how easy this is. You don't need any fancy tools. You can do it with fancy tools, but you don't need fancy tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little bee, and I'm going to stamp him somewhere like here. Now he's going to be my focal point bee. Okay, he's the one I'm going to come back and add some color to and things like that. But other than that, what I'm going to do is stamp him in a line going up the side of the page. So just like that there, okay? And I'm just going to keep going in a line up the page. And if he hangs off the page, that's even bonus, okay? So I've got him there, and then I'm going to come right down to the bottom and stamp him again right down here like he's coming onto the page. So all I've done is repeated that same guy all the way up the page. So repeat performance, that's what we're going to call him. As a matter of fact, I kind of did this process years ago and called it repeat performance, but I just think this is such a cool way to get some cards made and feel really good about the result. All right, I'm going to grab some of my color pencils. I say some, probably just one. This is my yellow. And what I'm going to do to this guy right here, remember I told you he was going to be my focal point guy? I'm going to give him color. I'm not going to color the other guys, and I'm going to color him any way I want to in whatever color I want to do, but he's the only one who's going to get colored. I think I'll give him some little gray wings. And now, just as easy, not doing anything hard, from the same stamp set, I'm going to find a sentiment that I think works with him and stamp it right out here beside him. Just like that. So remember, we've used this guy right here who is our main focal point guy, right? And because he's a critter, and because I always do this, I'm even going to give him some white dots. I'm treating him like he's the only bee on this page. I'm not worried about the other guys. They're just our repeat performance guys, okay? They just live up there, and this little guy lives right here, and we're giving him all the attention. And what this will do, let me give some here too. What this will do is give such a graphic impact, it draws your eye to him, but it feels like you've done a whole card design, right? Now let me show you what even steps it up even more. So I did all my focus, all my color on this little guy. Now I'm going to show off that color even just a little bit more by pulling it into my first mat. Do you see how I'm doing that? And then we're going to do one more little touch. Lastly, I'm going to glue him onto a piece of black. So basically, we're just repeating that simple color, kind of this 3 different colors that match our little bee and what we put on it. And then it is repeated in our mats. And let me show you when I hold that up. Do you see how that looks? Look how much impact we get from that. It was literally one image, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, colored once, stamped beside it, and then match the colors on the edges or on our matting. And isn't that a graphic, beautiful card front? So easy, right? Let's do it another way. Now I'm going to take one image from this set and get big impact on this card with one image and 3 colors of ink. Now you can do this with any of your stamp sets. Notice how we're focusing on like one image. That's kind of how we're going to stretch our sets, right? Okay, so let's start with yellow. Yellow is our lightest color, and the image I chose from the stamp set is the smallest of the citrus fruits. There's a large and then a small. This is the small one. There is a slice, and you could use it too. I'm not going to today. What I'm going to do is just stamp this guy down the page a couple of times. So like here, and let's do him again. Let's do him one more time, like maybe over here, kind of off the page. And then let's do him one more time at the bottom, or sort of at the bottom, something like this. Now what I want to do is using the same image, okay, I'm going to cover my yellow up so I don't put my arm in it. Using the same image, I'm going to go to the orange. First, let me clean this little guy off. So I just used a little bit of squeaky clean and my little lint-free cloth and just wiped it away. Of course it's stained, but that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is dip into the orange, dip into or tap onto, we'll say that, tap onto the orange. And now I'm just going to overlap. Right here, I'm going to let them overlap and not worry about that overlap. I want that to happen, okay? And it's going to build that interest. Do you see that? This is one image from that set, and look how much impact we're getting. All right, let's do it again. This time, why don't we put it kind of over here? And I may just use 2 of those because I've still got the green one. Look how much we're getting out of it. All right, now let's do the green. Let's do a green one kind of up here, connecting those 2 together like this. Isn't that pretty? And I don't mind that gap. We don't have to have full coverage here. We can, but we don't have to. I just think this is so pretty. Let me finish this off and show you how it will look. Now again, being very simple, I'm taking a sentiment from that set, and then I'm going to stamp it on some yellow cardstock, and we're going to continue that pop of graphic color. So I'm going to use black ink to get that graphic color, stamp our sentiment. So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to glue him to what would be a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. Now I'm putting it on a piece of black that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I'll just put that on either a white card base or something like that, so I can stamp the inside of the card base too. But for today's demonstration, I'm just getting this ready to go on the card front. You could add another bit of orange if you wanted to, or even another bit of yellow like we did on the bee. But for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this guy right here, and I'm going to trim it off where it meets at the end. I think I'm going to pop it up on some foam. This guy's going to live here. Look, I could put him on the angle, which is cute too. I can put him straight across. I kind of like him on the angle. I think he looks cute. So I'm going to put it just like that. Then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut off the excess. And that can go straight onto a white card base. Now here's what's so cool about it. We used 1 image and 1 sentiment. That's how simple this is. Now you could add more and do more, but do you see the graphic design that we get from just that 1 image from a stamp? Let's do another one. So full disclosure, I've never tried this technique before, but in doing the research for this video, I saw a card done like this and thought I have to try it, okay? So I'm gonna use the little moped from our Let's Scoot stamp set, and I'm gonna use my Misty to make this happen. Now we're gonna do something called 2nd and 3rd generation stamping, okay? And I'm gonna make the moped look like it's moving across the page if this works. So I want to see first where I need the moped to end. And what do I mean by that? I don't wanna line this up over here because I'm gonna stamp it first and get my darkest image that way. What I wanna do is move this cardstock over as far as I'm gonna be able to move it in my Misty. So I can move it that far and still stamp it. You see that? Then what I want to do is decide where I need this guy to end. And I'm thinking this will be the last one I put on the page. Just like that, okay? So I'm gonna pick this up. I know this is not making a lot of sense right now. Let me do it, and if it works, it'll make sense. All right, so there's that. Now when I put this guy back over here, I want you to see where this moped is gonna actually stamp. See it here? So now I'll be able to do what I'm trying to do and stamp it dark, and then again, and get that movement across the page. So let's see if we can make this happen. So put my cardstock down. I'm gonna get a nice dark ink. This is VersaFine Onyx Black. That's what I'm gonna use for this one. And the first image, I want it to be nice and dark, okay? So I may even stamp this first one twice. So let's get everything in place. Let's get our impressible and give it a good press. And I probably will do this one twice because of the wheels. Most of the time, I need to do that. And plus, I don't mind getting my stamp very juicy because I really kind of need it to have some extra residual ink on it. This time, I'm gonna clean that ink off of my Misty because I don't want it on my card. This time, I'm gonna close this guy up and stamp it one more time. And when I pick him up now, I'm not gonna ink him again. Instead, I'm gonna move my cardstock over, maybe to about here. I'm just gonna put my finger here and test. I think I want him to go a little bit further over. Test that out, and that looks about right. Now what I want to do is I want to do what's called second generation stamping, and this is where I stamp with the ink that's left on the stamp from that image. So I'm going to put this guy down and I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to pick that one up. You see that? And I'm going to move this over as far as I can now. Remember, we already established how far we could stamp. I'm going to test and see if that's where I want it, and that feels about right. And now we're going to third generation stamp it. So I put that magnet down. We're going to close this down, and we're going to get what we get. And it's automatically going to be lighter, okay? Because there's less ink on our stamp this time. So look at that. It looks like our little moped is moving. Isn't that cute how that does? Let's do it with another image and see what it looks like. So let's try the same process with this little car from our Oh Yay Vacay set. So I want it to end, I think I'm going to have him go off the page. I think I want him to end like this. Yeah, just like that. So I'm gonna pick him up. Remember, I've moved this over as far as I can go to start with. Pick him up like this. And now we wanna start our first stamp with this guy all the way into that bottom corner. So I'm gonna ink him up with the same ink. Now you could technically re-ink this guy every time a little lighter if you wanted to do that. You don't really have to do that. But what I mean is you could use black on the first one and then a gray on the next one and then an even lighter gray on the next one. But I don't think we have to do that. I think we can get this done just like this. So let's press this little guy down. And again, I think I'm gonna stamp him twice just to get a really nice dark image. And now this time, I'm gonna move this little guy, and I'm putting my finger here so that I don't accidentally close the MISTI down and get an image that I'm not ready for, because I wanna see how far back I want this guy to go. This looks good because of where my suitcases land, so let's do that second generation. And then I'm gonna move him as far as I can move him, and let's get that third. So there we go. It looks like it's moving across the page. Now, right now, you might think that is not cute. Listen, don't stop. We're gonna finish these fronts and see what they look like finished. So look at there, you guys. All I did was go back to the stamp set and use 2 sentiments here and 3 from the set here and add it to a bright color in the back. And look how cute those are. And I'll be honest, at first I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like these cards, but once I finish them, I really do. I also think if you wanted to take the time to color this guy and then lightly color and lightly color, if you were a colorist, you could probably make that happen. That would be cute too. So let's look at these cards that, if we repeat ourselves, have very graphic and pretty impact. So check this out. There's those. There's the one we started with. And how simple. How simple. If you just want to get in your craft room and make something super quick, or if you need to make 100 of something, this is the way to go. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple and easy. And then also this guy. The colors are bright, they're cheery, and it was so easy. And can you see how we're going to stretch our stamp sets? This one, I used 2 images from that whole set. You could do the same thing using other images from the set. That one in particular has a little honey pot. It would be cute going all the way up. Maybe the beehive going all the way up. So easy to make these kinds of cards happen. So we may not like to repeat ourselves in real life, but it sure is fun to repeat ourselves in stamping, because I think we get some really cute cards from it. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was a little different, little fun, something to bring you on Maker Monday. And you know the deal. Your challenge now is to get into your stash, find stamps, do this kind of process, and show it to me over on our customer gallery at MaymayMadeIt.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future videos that are coming out, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked even just one of these cards. Thanks so much for being here today, and until next time, bye now.